Alright, what's going on, nerds? GM Throwmac and GM Magdum for Dice Bag and GM. Alright, so I've been talking to the guys over at Wiz Dice, and we got our hands on some of their Storytime dice.
Are these in stores yet?
They are in stores. They're on the go to Amazon.com to order them. You might have to page over a couple pages, but with any luck, and you guys buy this and put reviews on it, you can get it on the front page. So check this out. They are polyhedral dice. They're pretty damn large. If you want to get a comparison here, I'll go D20 to D20.
D20 D7?
It's pretty freaking big. And they have all these great little symbols on them.
Pictures
And stuff. Alright? Comes with a neat little dice guide. Shows you what every little thing does. Now, they tell you right here to use your imagination. You know, just because it's time warp doesn't mean all of a sudden, hey, you got sucked into a time warp. You know, maybe some sorcerer had a spell go rogue, create an anti-magic field, and ended up being a time warp instead. Or you open up a treasure chest, and oh, well, what was in there? A potion was in there.
Right.
Something like that could be in there.
Or it says on the Storytime, that's science.
That's even better. You found science.
Then another thing you guys can do, which I recommend if you're running a game as a DM and you're using Storytime dice, take them, take the dice guide that they give you and then make your own dice guide to fit your campaign. So do like a grid where, you know, okay, if you roll the astronaut, that's really a sorcerer or something of that nature. What I really like about these is the obvious randomness that can occur. And we're actually going to be running a session with these coming shortly where all we're going to be using are the Storytime dice. That's probably going to be coming next week, which for you guys might be 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
I still have last session to break apart and do, which was like a month ago, but
we have real lives, people. Nerds can do it too, right? But what I'm actually anticipating for these Storytime dice is we're going to be doing the Dice Bagging GM Secret Santa. And on Dice Bagging GM, the Secret Santa rolls a little differently. Yes, names go in a hat. Yes, names get drawn out of a hat. No, you cannot draw your own name. But instead of a prize or a present, you get to roll up a character for the person you pick.
Oh, damn it.
So
you guys are going to do something stupid like a freaking half-orc bard with no fear.
I mean, it's going to be hilarious. And
love it.
Then we will be using the Storytime dice in a real-time setting in order to create one of the most random encounters I'm sure I will have ever seen. And I like random encounters. They're a blast. They're a lot of fun for those of you who have never done random encounters. They're so much fun. You guys can see some of the stuff that we do on our videos. Anytime I say over-under, it's in regards to 50 or 10 on a D20. You roll it over. If they pick over, there's no encounter. If they pick over and it's under, there is an encounter. And making up charts in order to come up with the different stuff is cool. But now you can add it to where, you know, it comes up with
Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil, or you know, they encounter a giant spider. Blah. There's also setting dice. So the different dice in this setup are the heroes, which, you know, you have your astronaut, princess, firefighters, knights, etc. Again, customize it to your game setting, whatever you want to run. If you want to run World of Darkness, if you want to run D&D, you know, put the different races on there. Then you've got vehicles, you know, rocket ships and airplanes and time warps and stuff. You have tools, which is your D20s. They're different tools. So instead of saying, all right, you know, pick all your starting equipment, roll what they get. You got your settings, so the desert, creepy castles, outer space, planes, right? Use this for different interplanar campaigns, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you guys magically get sucked into a time vortex. You end up on the astral plane. That's just an easy one that I picked up. But Bitopia is a good one too.
And we're only talking about D&D, or you could be playing Star Wars D20.
You can play anything with these, and you know what I really like is the fact that Wiz Dice has made a good feeling product. They feel solid. If I were to hit Throwmac in the head with one of these, he actually might like it. But it's a good, solid feeling product. It doesn't feel like some of your other cheaper die games that are out there. I have people here. Fantastic. We're about to game, and they're only
like, for
10 minutes late. Look at that.
For whatever deity you worship, sake, I will take a shower with dice. I mean, whatever.
I've seen them do it. It's not pretty. I don't know which one's creepier on that, me or you.
Probably the guy washing.
But yeah, so it's a good, solid feeling product, and again, I mean, it can just really add that a completely different depth and dynamic to your game. So look forward to our Storytime Dice Spectacular
Stepped on it.
to be coming soon. And if you guys have suggestions for us on what kind of a setting or stuff like that, go. I'm sure you can find the chart online. Give us suggestions. We would love to hear your feedback, and we would love to run some stuff that you guys want to see. What else you got to say about these wonderful, awesome feeling? If they were glow in the dark, that would be so much cooler with dice. Glow in the dark set.
Well, you know how that works. It's just, they can't just make something like that. It's got to be. There's got to be a supply and demand. There's got to be a demand for it in the first place, just to justify making it.
I demand glow in the dark Storytime dice.
Well, you got to make like
demand.
That's just us. But they still got to be like all right. Well, they got every product they make. They got to order 5,000 of it, and then they got to justify selling it. So people buy your Wiz dice.
That and other uses for the Storytime dice. I mean, you were talking earlier about how you read a bedtime story, right?
Yeah. There'll be a video of that later, but I actually, when these came in on Friday, I actually used them to make a bedtime story for my son, and he thought it was the greatest thing ever. So now the only time so he doesn't care about like books or crap anymore. Now I got to read him stories off of the Storytime dice. So that's a huge win. That means, my son, a 4-year-old's already addicted to polyhedral dice. So now he wants his own set of these, so I'll be dropping some money later.
So yeah, I mean, being able to do a bedtime story for your kids, being able to do, random, that also games. I mean, if you're...
It even has game settings, things you can play, like...
Well, I'm talking about okay, so if you're playing games in in an actual RPG type environment, a lot of people like to say, oh, well, I'm going to go gamble, or I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go do that. You can only roll D6s so many times for stuff like that, or D12s, or I know that some of you are going to say, oh, well, I run, don't care. These can make it really, really fun to come up with different aspects and just open up your imagination. So often people lose their imagination, even in the RPG world.
Oh, yeah.
It gets so routine.
The rules say.
Yeah, the rules say. Well, the rules say DM has final say, so deal with it. But sit here and think of a game that people could play with these inside of your role-playing game, and then come up with different meanings for the symbols, and then don't tell them. Just let them roll.
Let them deal with it when it happens.
Let them deal with it when it happens. And then say, all right, well, we roll this dice, and you got this combination, so it means this. Or you got this and this, which means this. Make it fun. Make it interesting. It definitely adds an entirely new aspect, not only to the role-playing game, but to story time with your kids. And we're going to be coming up with some more uses for these. Wiz Dice wanted us to take a look at them, run them, have a gameplay session. And like I said, the Secret Santa Spectacular is going to be definitely using the randomization of the Storytime dice. You got anything else for the folks?
Nope. Covered it.
Alright guys, well, thank you very much for watching. We have nerds showing up now, so we're going to get to gaming, and we look forward to hearing from you guys and letting us know what kind of thoughts and inputs you have on Storytime dice and how you'd like to see them used.
Right.
In the meantime,
keep the dice rolling.